Alrighty, today is July 16th, part 3 of the garden series. And I would say about 6 days ago, so July 10th, we had our first starting of the flowers on the beans. Because there's the beans, they're all starting to flower. So yeah, that one's flowering. That one's flowering, and that one's flowering. Carrots are looking amazing. We actually picked a lot of raspberries, and as you guys can see, they're all pretty much red. That batch of raspberries is looking a lot healthier now. These two tomatoes, these are cherry. These are looking really good, and I can see a bunch of baby ones starting. The kale and the onions, some onions, lettuce. The lettuce tastes really good. We actually have been picking a lot for the chickens because they love it. Here is some yellow tomatoes, and there's a good batch of about 4 or 5 of them down there. So that's looking extremely healthy. Here is some red tomatoes, and there is a lot in here. I mean, like, there's about 2 right there. 2 more down there, and then inside there's a lot. That batch of lettuce tastes really good. Those 2 things of romaine right there taste good. That batch of lettuce tastes good, and then 2 more romaine. I bet you won't be long, we'll be picking some beans because they are starting to turn. Here is some dill that is starting to grow taller. And then right there on the fence right there is our cucumbers. They are growing. Cucumbers, and in between we got some spinach, and I'm gonna pull some more of that because it's basically seed, so it's not really that good anymore. Yeah, cucumbers is really looking really good in this box. Now on to that next one over here. More dill and cucumbers. Here is the peas, and ooh, look what I just found. Right there is our first pea flower. These blueberries are looking okay. This one, for some reason, I don't know, we just got them last year, but this one's not doing good, so hopefully next year there'll be some on it. Still have yet to pick a blueberry off of here. This one we got, they're all starting to turn. We ate about, I'd say about 10 blueberries off that bush so far. This one right next door to it, you guys can see a lot of berries on it. There you go. That is the update on the garden. Also, because there's so much lettuce, we have been starting to pluck away at it because there's a lot of lettuce, and as I said earlier, like for example, the spinach over there is starting to go to waste, so you might as well pick it and give it to the chickens because the chickens up in that coop up there, they love it. Another interesting thing that I noticed just a couple days ago when I was weeding is that these are like normal bean plants, and then something like this over here, yeah, like that. That is an actual bean plant, but that is one where it like climbs. So some people have like a hoop thing, and then they have a bunch of beans on all of it, so we can just go underneath it and pick it. See, I just gave the chickens some spinach and lettuce, and look at them. They're loving it. Alrighty, today is July 21st, and I would say a few days ago, so July 18th, maybe July 19th. Look at the cucumbers. They're starting to flower, so that's actually really cool. Blueberries are kind of starting to turn, so that means that these plants are actually looking really good. This one is still kind of, there's no berries or anything on it, so hopefully it'll grow next year. This one's starting to have blueberries on there. we picked a lot off this bush so far. This one's actually doing the best. This one's doing really good. Starting to turn still. Peas are so tall. I'd say there's about 20 flowers on there, so that's kind of cool. As you notice, that spinach that was right there, that is gone because it went to seed. So every once in a while, like every day, like morning and night, I just pick some and give it to the chickens because they love it. And there's also another flower in there, so that's kind of cool. Some flowers in these ones. Dill is looking good. That box, I would say, is really good. So all those cucumbers in there are doing just fine, and that little bit of dill in the front. This batch of beans are really good. If you can see right there, that is a bean, so I'd say that's probably about 1 inch long. There's some more, like right down there, there's one. Right over here, down there. That one's looking the same, so that's pretty cool. That one over there is also looking the same. Here's where you can tell we've been getting a lot of this lettuce to the chickens. Like there's a little batch right there gone. There's some right here. There's a giant opening there now. Giant opening here. And look at the tomatoes. Like you can see a lot of them on here. I just call them red tomatoes, which is basically what they are. And that one's a better boy, a red one. So yeah, that box is healthy. Carrots, they're actually really thinned out, so we're gonna have a lot of carrots this year. Now these two tomatoes, I call these cherry tomatoes just because they're like little cherries, and yep, sweet 100. Now right here is some kale. We actually made some kale chips the other day, and we ate some of it the other day, so that's good. Tastes good. The onions are still small. The peppers, I noticed down here, there's a pretty good sized pepper down there. It's about maybe 2 inches long, maybe close to 3. These two tomato plants, there's 2 of them right there. And these ones are, I just call them yellow tomatoes, but that's what they're called. The other one's the exact same over there. This box of raspberries is looking better than it first did. So I'm liking that because that batch of raspberries right over here is, as you guys can see, there's a lot of red. We've been picking as much as we can because we love to eat raspberries. We do raspberries, milk, and sugar, or make a raspberry pie, or there's many different things you can make with raspberry. That is the update on the garden. Alrighty, it is July 24th, and that box of raspberries is pretty green compared to when it first was. That box right here is all red, and we picked a lot. We probably have enough for maybe a pie or 2. This box of carrots is looking really healthy. They're pretty tall, but not big enough to eat yet. Those 2 cherry tomatoes right there are looking really good. No red ones yet, or orange ones. That box, that part of kale right there is looking good. Onions, and then lettuce, and then those tomatoes, I would say that they are doing okay right now. This box of beans are looking really good. They are maybe 2 inches right now, so that's good. There's a bunch of lettuce in there. We've been feeding a lot of that to the chicken still. And then those 2 tomatoes are looking probably the most healthiest, I would say, right now. This box of beans are looking really healthy. There's a lot of beans in there. You can actually see one right there. This box of beans is even more healthier because I looked, and like right here, look how good that is. There's a bunch of them in there, and probably within a couple days we'll be picking beans and having to can some beans. That whole box of cucumbers is doing really good, but there's no cucumbers on them yet. But way down in here, they are starting to flower really healthy. This box of cucumbers are looking really good. There's a lot of flowers on them, and look how tall those peas are. And if you look way up here, there is a bunch of flowers, but no peas on them yet. This box of blueberries is looking really good. They're all starting to turn right now, so that's really good. I'd say so far we picked about 20 blueberries. And finally, this box of blueberries is looking really good, but for some reason, I have no idea why, this one has like nothing on it, but there's a lot of leaves, but just no berries on like that one or like that one. My favorite thing about gardening is that you watch things start off to a little seed, like carrot seeds. Those are probably one of the smallest seeds I've seen, and they grow up to be a beautiful orange carrot. Or like bean seeds, those are pretty good sized seeds, and then they grow into that, and then you can can them and you have a whole lot. Lettuce seeds are pretty small, so that's kind of cool that they start off with just this really tiny seed, you know, and then you can eventually eat it and then make a salad out of it. Tomatoes also, they are really small seed. When they grow up to like this size, they're like really healthy. Yeah, you can eat them. So that's my favorite thing about gardening, is that you get to watch all of that stuff happen, and it's just really cool. It's not that hard to have a garden, just as long as you maintain it, like water it every once in a while when it needs to do it, weed the garden as often as you can. The update on the garden.